Hello, I'm Beth Ebert, a senior scientist at the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, and I'd like to tell you about a new flagship project of HiWeather developed jointly with the Societal and Economic Research Applications Working Group that will use value chain approaches to evaluate the end-to-end warning chain. Brian has already described how information is added and lost as it travels along the warning chain. This project is really to conduct research to improve the effectiveness of the warning chain. The first part of the project will be to understand what kinds of value chains exist and how they can best be used in a weather climate context. To do this, we'll develop an inventory of examples where value chains have been applied, prepare a catalog of usage types of value chains, and also review the metrics and methods that are used to measure the value chain. We'll synthesize the findings into a high-level framework tool for decision makers, and then provide guidance and tools for more specific usage of the value chain. The second part of the project will generate an easily accessible means to review and learn from previous experience with weather-related warning systems. We'll catalog and analyze weather warning chains from case studies of high-impact weather events that have occurred in the past, and we'll review the organization and performance of certain warning chains that work for different hazards or different regions. We'll also perform some detailed case studies of warning chains for particular events, and we'd like to specifically link our more detailed information to the WMO catalog of hazardous events. This is a multidisciplinary research project, and the HiWeather task teams and SARA working group have contributed ideas for many questions that the warning chain catalog could be used to address, spanning all aspects of the warning chain. For example, the predictability and processes starting on the left-hand side of the warning chain are interested in what was behind the event. The multi-scale modeling and hazards is concerned with how those events were simulated. The human impacts vulnerability and risk area, which is really quite a pioneering area, is looking at what were the impacts and how were those predicted and responded to. The communication is of course very important to the success of a warning, and there are many questions that can be asked there. And over the whole chain, we want to evaluate things like error propagation, usage of quality information, strongest and weakest links, and so on. There's a lot of enthusiasm to participate in the value chain project. We have about 24 members in the team, about half physical scientists and half social scientists, and a new member from AccuWeather who will represent the private provider perspective in the chain. The project formally kicked off in November 2020, and we have an ambitious meeting schedule, meeting bi-monthly to try and progress the work. And we're very fortunate to have a postdoc, David Hoffman, who's working with me in the project in Australia, and also assisting WWRP with support for HiWeather. The outcomes that the Value Chain Project hopes to deliver for WMO members are around using the value chain as an analysis approach to understand and improve their forecast and warning chains and be able to measure how well the different parts are working. And then reviewing warning chains for actual high-impact weather events to understand what has worked well, to be able to access the data, know what kinds of information to collect to create useful case studies, and also to be able to put your own data into the system as part of a broader catalog. We plan to have the value chain framework and tools ready for sometime in 2022. And in parallel, we are also starting to gather information on hazardous events, and we hope that WMO members will be interested in contributing. We're liaising with the expert team on cataloging hazard events so that our project supports and builds on that work. If you're interested in knowing more about the project, you can visit our website. Thank you very much.